time for another build. Again, we're doing a Mini-ITX build. Second one I've ever done. Now this is in the same case as last time. If you've seen the video before, I did a relatively powerful Sandy Bridge build in here, an i5 2500 and a GTX 960. This one is going to be purely a HTPC. This is simply either going to be sold, which we are going to put up for sale, but we're also going to have it as a backup computer here, because this house doesn't function if we don't have two computers, one for me, one for my father. And well, right now my father's Kaveri build is the most powerful we have, so we're building this as a backup. So let's go through some parts. Here we have the Sharkoon C10 Shark Zone, which I'm not the biggest fan of the name of the Shark Zone bit, but I like the Sharkoon C10. We have Windows 7, I believe. Yeah, Windows 7. Block that off. Put that back in its little thing. We have a 300 watt power supply. We've had this lying around for a bit. I think it came out of an old Dell, so it is relatively like what's the word? Reliable. I couldn't think of the word. Okay, so we also have a 500 gigabyte small form factor. It's a 2.5 inch mechanical hard drive made by Samsung. So that's 500 gigabytes more than enough room for HTPC. Now this is not actually XMS2 RAM. It's not Corsair XMS2. It's just 4 gigs of some RAM we have lying around the house. I think, is it made by, it's Zeppelin is the brand. I'm not that well known with them. So that's 4 gigs. It's perfectly normal. It's enough. Another Athlon 5350. This thing only pulls like, I think is it 25 watts? It's gonna be perfectly fine for watching TV. We're like watching HD video. Now this fan is the fan that's going to be used in the back of the case, in the 80mm spot at the back of the case there. But we did actually buy this Arctic fan, and then we realized that we had a CPU cooler that we didn't use, and we kind of ripped this off it, and now we have this. So we have a better fan, and since this will not really get hot at all, we've decided let's just throw this in it and keep the good fan in case we ever need it. And for motherboards, we have an MSI. If it says the name on it, I keep forgetting the name of this motherboard. It actually doesn't have the name. Where is it? I don't know. It's an AM1 Mini-ITX motherboard. Yeah, that's weird. Just like the OEM boxes we get for our graphics cards. Now, there we go. This box is really hard to open as well. So we have a little manual. We'll read that. 2 SATA cables. The I/O shield, driver disc. Do not use this to get all of the drivers. Only get the LAN driver. Download all the other drivers off the internet, because even if it's a brand new part, and I mean this, if you get it on launch day, they will either be working on drivers that they will put up in the next couple days, or there will already be drivers up. Get them off the internet. Or even just get the ones that you have on the disk off the internet and just wait. Now motherboard, here it is. If I put that back down. Now I have opened this just to make sure it's okay and everything. This genuinely has quite a couple features for its price. Like, it has USB 3, but it doesn't have a USB 3 header. That doesn't really matter all that much. But it does have 2 USB 2 headers. Excuse me, hiccups. It has an M SATA port. It has a DVI, VGA, HDMI, everything we'll need. And yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. So now a little bit of a rundown on the motherboard. As you can see, we have our PS2 ports, HDMI, DVI and VGA, 2 USB 3, 2 USB 2, a gigabit LAN port, and your audio in and out. Now let's prep the motherboard. First I'm going to put in the RAM. So let me see if I can just... Actually hurts. You can see what happens to your thumb when you try to push down just the bare sticks of RAM that don't have any heat sinks on. Oh, pain. Anyway, now for our Athlon 5350. Let's just cut this real quick. I seriously either need to get a new pair of scissors or an actual unboxing knife, but I'm not sure if I don't think I'm able to import them. There we go. So there's your CPU. There's your little manual, and I'm sorry, the adorable little cooler. So here's your Athlon. Is considerably smaller than most of the other Athlons. But then again, think about what it is. It's not designed to be a huge CPU or anything. So there we go. There's all your pins. Now lift that up. Now there's a little triangle there and the little triangle on the CPU. If you can see it, little gold triangle. So it should go in like so. And then just push it down. And that's not going anywhere. Now I'm going to put on the CPU cooler. It can be a little bit fiddly, so I'm not going to do a commentary. But you'll see how kind of a little bit hard it is to get in. And see how these go on. So that should be perfectly fine for the CPU header. And now we just place CPU cooler down on like so. Okay, let's recap. So, motherboard prepped, 4 gigs of RAM, CPU. Now let's get this out of the way and move on to the case. Alright, so now we're going to put in the 80mm fan. It's going to be an exhaust fan. This case will not have an intake fan because, well, we don't actually need one for the parts that are going in here. They'll just pull in air from any crevice possible. So here's one of our screws. Now I'll put this in and I'll come back to you when it's done. Okay, so now we're going to be able to put in our motherboard. First I'm going to put in the back plate, obviously. So if we take, oh, here it is. There we go. Throw the bag over there. And now which way is the motherboard going to go in? Like so. That means, and also we have the fan in. There we go. Now we can take our motherboard. Try and line this up. Right. it's lined up. I just like to get it a little bit further in. I don't know why it's not complying. Oh, now I see. All of these tabs here have to be bent back. So I'm just screwing down the motherboard. Can go over it with a better screwdriver than this now in a minute. Now I'm just going to hook up our exhaust fan. Just going to go there. And now I'm not really worried about cable management, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And now I'm going to put in the power supply, hook up our 24 pin and our 4 pin, and then finish off whatever else we have to do. Time for a power supply. So I've taken this off the front. So you take this off, and then this screws on to the front of the power supply, like so, and then it all slides in the front as one unit. So I'm going to put this down like so. Get that lined up and screw it in. Just sliding this in now. Slide it. Take our screwdriver again. Okay, so I have the 24 pin here and our 4 pin here clearly hooked up. Now I'm going to install our hard drive, but I also have the front on. There's everything here basically hooked up. Now I need to put in our 2.5 inch hard drive. This would be more suited to a laptop, but in this build it'll be perfectly fine. Now it's going to mount on kind of here, so this just slides out and we can screw it in to here, screw the I was going to say SSD hard drive in to these 4 holes, and everything should be good. Okay, so hard drive in, front panel connectors hooked up, front audio, USB. Genuinely does not look all that bad. Like, of course you're not going to have the cable management options of a normal mid-tower or full tower, but I think I've done the best I can with what I'm working with, and I am very happy with it. So now let's hook up our hard drive. Let's put this under here. There's SATA power. And add this to the master cables here. Now, SATA data cables. How to professionally open a bag. Now these are both right angle, so I'm gonna see how well I can do this. So I could put a right angle there, and a right angle there isn't gonna work, so a right angle has to go here. Now, if I get a couple cable ties in a minute, I can make all the cables stay the way they are. And by the way, that is SATA 1. So, there we go, basically. That's it done, isn't it? As far as I can tell. It was actually quite a bit of fun, and I have to say this fits in nicely because it's not a huge hard drive. And yeah, I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, we're all done. I have this this cable tied up. They should stay there now. Obviously everything's connected. These two USBs are wired up as USB 2, but this motherboard does have USB 3 around the back. Just doesn't have a USB 3 header. Now I'm going to put the side panels on, even though I'm going to have to take the top one off to connect up a DVD drive. Now just the last two thumb screws just to go on. Now, I am very happy with this build. It's actually a little bit heavier than I thought it was going to be. But I'm very happy with it. Got to install Windows and get drivers and whatnot. I'm not going to do that on camera. But yeah, this was fun.